Welcome back to another episode of Popular by Purpose. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for watching. It's been a pretty long season. We got one more episode left after this. This is episode 9. But like I said before, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell noti because we got a lot of good things coming on the way. With that being said,
what's good, man? It's Mo. You already know. Today's guest, I want to get right into it, man. I'm really excited for him. Another guy we had to beg to get on the show. Somebody that's actually super humble. And I want to say, this is how low-key and humble this guy is. I've known him for, I want to say, I don't know, maybe 8 years. I'm going to just throw that out there. Maybe 10, I don't know.
It's like 8 or more.
But he's somebody that I heard of this certain car show, this certain car thing going on, but I knew this guy as well.
As a client.
This is a guy that came to the shop, cool dude, like just normal, talk ball, talk whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just a normal, cool, chill guy, a dad, like he was just a cool guy. And it turned out it was Swerve, man. It was good, bro.
What's up, man? You got
Swerve.
What's up, baby?
Damn.
I had, I'm not gonna lie.
Bro,
The moment I found out, I remember I was cutting, there was no Vito. And I was cutting.
Was I late?
He was definitely late. My bad. The most late client of all time of pop. Nah, not really. But that's probably one of my clients actually. But this is one of Dave's clients as well, actually. But,
Shout out Dave.
Shout out Dave. Always give me sharp.
Razor sharp.
I can't do that. Like I always say, whenever Dave's clients here, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me for other shit. All right? But yeah, I remember the moment I found out that you were Swerve, bro.
Yes, sir.
Literally, we were at the Oviedo suite when we used to cut there, and I remember you guys were just talking. Whenever there's a car topic, I'm like this, bro. I don't know nothing about cars, right? Football, I'm all in, right? But y'all were talking cars and stuff, and then the show was coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
And where was it at? Where you guys do that?
I believe at that moment it was Daytona we were doing.
No, not Daytona. The one that I met Brappen. Shout out Brappen.
You talking about
Block Party.
Yeah, it was during
Orlando.
Oviedo when Block Party happened, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's had a block party for a while, yeah.
Yeah, but that specific one,
Was that
you
your
know what
first
I'm
time
talking about.
at Oviedo?
No.
Yeah, before that.
So before that, no.
That was our first time. We were
I actually know
vendor tent.
that may
That's what
have
it was.
been
My
the
first
first
time going,
block
I'm
party
saying.
because that back at that location because the first event ever was at that location, but it was called Swerve Fest, and then COVID happened. So the city didn't want to do no events.
You're right.
So then I had to move to Daytona.
Okay.
And we didn't do no events at that location for like 2 years.
Makes sense.
And then when I came back to Orlando, I didn't want to be Swerve Fest anymore because new location, new atmosphere. I wanted to be something different. So I said Block Party.
Makes sense. But I remember, just you left that day. And I remember I'm putting two and two together. You guys are all talking about the Swerve Block Party. And I'm sitting there like, why are they like, okay, we're going to that, but like, why is this guy like the main focus? Is like, you don't even look like a car guy. I don't know what car guys look like, but he wasn't who I expected to Swerve. You know what I'm saying? Like, dead ass though, you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
And,
That's funny.
And you left, and I remember I was like, yo, why y'all talking about car with this guy so much? And I'm like, bro, that's Swerve. I was like, bro, there's no way. How is that Swerve? You know what I mean? But seriously, man, what you do out there, I'm not a car guy, like I said, but I know who Swerve is.
The show's a fire.
I know what's going on with Swerve.
Appreciate you.
I remember when I first try to like get Dan to like talk about cars, because Dave was cutting his hair, and Dave always be lacing his cut.
And late
for
to his
barbers,
cut. Yeah.
All the time.
he'd be like, this guy's late again, and then he would show up. And obviously getting to know you and knowing how busy your schedule is, it makes sense. But I remember I was like, I would always see his clothing brand, Swerve, like people wearing merch and stuff at car shows, at meets. And he, like obviously people always wear it, so I don't associate like it being his brand. I just see him coming in with a Swerve shirt, like okay. And then Jap, shout out Jap, my brother. Jap one time was like, yo, you do know that's the owner, that's Dan. I was like, for real? That's how I told you, I was like, y'all need a shirt, like what's up? And he sent me a link and I immediately purchased. And I've been ever since, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, let me just say this. It's funny because all of this probably would never happen if I didn't come and beg Dave to start cutting my hair again. Yo, I was late one time. I got blocked off Booksy. I pulled up. I was like, yo, bro, take me back, please.
That's
so he
hilarious.
lifted that joint. And then I think when we went to Oviedo, that's when you start talking about cars and stuff like you're saying. So.
And I remember when that was, but you and Dave, man, are a match made in heaven. Y'all both late as shit. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all both, if he's not late, Dave on time, he be loud. Like, man.
You know what Dave has taught me, bro? And, you know, I always give credit where credit is due. I wasn't living in this, like, capitalist country. Like, I gotta move at a certain speed. And Dave taught me, like, you gotta slow down because tomorrow's not promised. You know what I mean? You're never gonna get your time back, and you're stressing for something that like you have no control of. And he helped me, like his character helped me slow down to a point where like 2 minutes don't matter. I used to get pissed about people being 5 minutes late, and I don't know what's happening in their personal life, and they're going out of their way to come here and give me business. And I used to make it an ordeal when someone. I remember one time, shout out Will, I love you, dog. I remember one time Will showed up 15 minutes late and he drove from Davenport or something.
Damn.
And I had the audacity to not cut his hair. And I
Rightfully
always,
so, brother.
I feel terrible for that. And he knows I love him. And I always, my whole attitude has changed. Where I'm like, you never know what someone's going through. And they're still going out of their way to come talk to you and pay you and keep us in business.
I be forgetting too, bro.
So like Dave, big shout out, Dave really taught me to slow down. Like, yo, slow down, bro. Life is meant to be lived, bro.
Since we're on the Dave thing, I just gotta say this. I cut next to Dave all day, bro. And I will say he has that effect. He's an island boy. He's chilling. He's a boss man. He's a businessman. He's about his business. He's about his shit. But he knows how to go to the beach and not think about nothing.
Enjoy life.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a
Enjoy
good
life.
dude.
They
bro.
be the
Like,
only
bro.
dude you be on Instagram like, where the hell is this dude at now, bro?
Straight up.
In Africa riding dirt bikes?
Straight up. Can't get a cut. That was funny, man.
Yeah.
But you Jamaican, man.
Yeah, man. Rude
Jamaican.
boy.
From Jamaica. He was born there
From
and
Jamaica,
everything.
yeah. Born in Kingston, but lived in Portmore.
No way,
Yeah,
for real?
Yeah, my
Okay.
grandma still have a house down there and everything.
Okay.
Portmore
okay.
is north, right?
No, Portmore is
it
like more south, more central area.
South right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, yeah, Montego Bay and all that up here, and then you come down as like Kingston and Portmore.
Top 5 movie of all time, shot us. I just gotta say.
My
that.
G!
I just gotta say that.
You know
I
what
ain't
I'm
gonna lie.
saying?
I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know.
I don't even know about that movie. You
No,
ain't even watch
I do, but you know, I'm a movie connoisseur. I would say
Good movie, though.
urban wise is
Yeah.
top 5.
Top
I love
five.
that movie, bro.
For sure. You
I
heard?
love that
For
movie,
sure.
bro.
That
I'm
and
trying to think of
Belly.
a line right now.
Belly's crazy.
Belly's
Belly
top
is, of
five for
Belly's
sure.
crazy. Paid in full.
Number 1, chill out. End of topic. I'm not going into none of
Belly's
that. Number
really
1,
good.
paid in full. The soy sauce, man. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's just my Tuesday week. Anyways,
So
go
being Jamaican,
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, you know what I'm saying? Being Jamaican, you were born over there and you moved to New York?
To New York. East
Okay.
New York, Brooklyn.
All right, and how long did you live there for?
So I moved here when I was 5, lived in Brooklyn until I was like 20.
Okay, so you got a lot of culture. I feel like
Yeah.
Jamaicans, to me, are like, I'm sure people who will agree with this, like one of the most influential cultures like all time.
It is,
Like,
it is.
No questions.
You know what's
on
funny?
their food, on the way they dress, everything. You know
Like
what I'm saying?
if you look
Their
at
music,
it,
obviously.
a lot of things were born in Jamaica and then kind of like spread out to other areas. But yeah, no, I agree. Very influential, definitely.
This might be a dumb question, but did dreads start in Jamaica?
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it buck. To
I was
me,
just thinking, I'm like, what is something
I
they did over there
I would
besides
say
smoking?
dreads probably started in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro, it's just all just.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, brother, hey, I'm at, hey,
Exactly.
Jamaica old
I'm
too,
not
brother,
making
chill
that
out.
break. I know, but not that.
Hey, that's fine.
But the Rastafari
dying
culture,
right now.
I feel like, is like the epitome of dreadlocks because
Nah, yeah, I agree.
when you think of like
I agree.
Rastafari,
Yeah,
or,
come on now.
you know what I'm saying? It's definitely like Jamaica.
Yeah.
I know there's a story in the scripture in the Bible about Samson, and one of my favorite parts of Samson is that the angel asks the parents to not cut his hair, and it speaks on him having 7 dreads, like he had the 7 dreads up until the point where Delilah cuts his hair. So that's an old story, but
Might have
like,
been Jamaican.
he might have been Jamaican.
Might have been Jamaica, right?
Might have been Jamaican.
Nah,
Real
it's
bad
hilarious.
man.
Yo,
But
so-
real quick, so you were born in Jamaica. When did you
Yeah.
move out of there? How old are you? I'm trying
5.
to get back.
I was 5.
5, and
Yeah.
then from that's when you moved to Florida.
No,
when
no,
you
no.
were 20.
I moved to hell nah.
I was trying to.
So
I think I missed
moved.
something.
I moved from Jamaica to New York when I was 5. I lived in New York till I was about 20, and from there I joined the military. So I was in the military from 20 to like 30.
Okay.
So I
You in
went.
the military?
Yeah, bro.
What branch?
Navy. 20
Respect,
years.
respect,
Yeah.
respect. Big military guy. I love
For
military.
real?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, bro.
I'm super
like,
pro military.
Military, hands down, was the best thing that I could have ever done.
Stop right there.
Yeah.
Let's bring this back a little bit because I love the military.
Mm.
I tell everybody, look. If you have nothing going in your life,
I was about to ask that.
if you have nothing
I was
going
about
in
to
your life,
ask that.
or if you feel stuck for any reason, parenting not being
Military.
available,
Join
the military,
Straight
man.
up.
Join the military, bro. It's the greatest thing that can happen in your life. It'll build structure. It will get to it. So you went to New York. Do you have any siblings? Were your parents involved in your life? What created the migration to New York?
Two-parent household, mom and dad, you know what I'm saying?
Blessed.
Amen. That's
I had
amazing.
an older sister when we came up here, so, but she was like not stepsister, because if you have another different parent, right? So
Half.
She's a half sister, yeah. So she had another mom, but she lived with us. So
Some Jamaican shit.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like my dad was outside, but yo, so she pretty much lived with us. It was me and her for most of the time, and then between my mom and my dad, they were kind of just like there. But in that house, it was my grandmother, my aunt, and then my aunt had a little baby. It was my cousin. So
So
the whole
you
family.
actually had a whole family there.
Nice.
That's incredible, bro.
Growing up in New York, what school, like, not what school did you go to, but what kind of school was it like?
So
What
I
area did you live
started
in?
out in private school. My mom sent me to a school. My parents sent me to a school in Manhattan called St. Stephen's, like a Catholic school. And I don't remember a lot from there, but I remember I was like infatuated with this Asian girl that went to that school. I was like in kindergarten. Every day I used to go to school, just think about that Asian girl. God damn. Anyway, so
Some Jamaican shit too,
you know
though.
what I'm saying? So.
It's Jamaican. It's Jamaican. Straight Jamaican.
But like I don't remember a lot with that school, but the school that I remember the most was when I started going to public school in Brooklyn, which is like maybe 5 minutes from my crib, and every day I get to walk to school. So I went from taking the train to school every day to walking to school every day. So yeah, I went to a school called PS13, I think it was PS7. Well, no, PS72 is what it was. About 5 minutes from my crib, and that's where I went to school from like I think first grade to like sixth grade.
Okay, cool. Did you play sports growing up?
I did, but I wasn't that great at it.
Okay.
I played basketball. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the best. At one point, I was getting like really good, but you know how sports is. Like if you don't do it consistently every single day, like
Oh, yeah.
depending on who you are, you know what I'm saying, you either lose it or you don't be as good. At one point, I remember I focused super hard in the summertime, and people who that used to beat me, I started busting their ass.
Facts. So what was your like niche growing up? What was something that you stuck with? Was it cars?
Cars, ironically,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Dead ass.
Hot Wheels and shit? It started Hot Wheels?
Bro, Hot Wheels, Matchbox. So like, it's funny too. I went back home recently, and like a lot of the places that I used to go to and like do certain things and buy certain things, they're all gone. So there's a pharmacy by my house I would go to, and they literally had Matchbox cars on a shelf. And I used to always just go there. My aunt used to give me money to go to the store, so I would take that money and buy Hot Wheel cars. Come back to the crib, play with them on my carpet and all that. I literally had like a box full of nothing but Hot Wheel cars.
Fire.
Question: being from New York, I always ask this to people from New York because it's either you do or you don't, right? Like, did you do all the like the New York things like the Broadway plays and
Bro.
Statue of Liberty, or are you
was
one of
you
those?
outside?
Or were you those stick on your block and don't leave it? Until,
Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Now that I'm older, I want to do all those things. I didn't do none of them shits.
see? No
none of
New
it.
Yorker
Like
does that.
I didn't go to the Statue of Liberty. I didn't go to the Empire State Building.
None of that.
Only thing I did, I went to 40 Deuce every once in a while. 'Cause I used to work over there. You know what I'm saying? Take a shorty out there, the movie theaters, all that good stuff. But as far as doing sightseeing, that was not really
a thing.
A thing.
It's not a thing,
It's
bro.
like being from here and never going to Disney like that.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
thing.
I
They
haven't
don't
been to
leave
Disney
their
since
block,
I was
bro.
like 5. You know what I'm saying?
What
You was there yesterday.
yeah, I'll be up there.
You be at Disney.
Did you so you went in public school, you went in middle school out there. I'm guessing you went to high school out there, graduated out there, right? Or did you graduate high school?
Yeah.
Okay. What was like a job that you probably had that you remember at the time that you was in school?
So if you
had a
know
job.
anything about Jamaicans, bro,
Yeah? They
we
workers.
get mad jobs.
I know.
I was working since I was 13,
And always
bro.
late.
And I'm the same
Dead
as I
ass.
asked.
Like
Okay.
my first job ever was it's like in New York you have like summer jobs, right? So when you graduate school, it's either you go to camp or you do summer school or you get a summer job. So I'll get a summer job every year. But
newspaper boy.
you know what I'm saying? But it's weird though, and this is like low-key a full circle moment because one of them jobs I remember the most that I probably had the most fun at was a summer job where I went to a church, but these niggas had us doing construction.
At church?
We was 15, 16
hot,
doing construction in 90-degree weather, bro. And I was like, I don't think this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like everybody else, I'll talk to them like, yo, what you do for work? Like for something like something. Yeah, I'm playing basketball with the kids. Or what you do? Oh, I'm helping them at the pool. What you do? I'm a fucking construction worker, bro. Like, it don't make no sense. But
getting paid the same
so
too.
the same. Yo, they gave us a hammer and we were like breaking down walls and shit in an abandoned building.
So all these people you're talking about were all in the same church, but they all had fun jobs and they had you.
Nah.
they had
How it
different
works
jobs
is they
out
had
in the
different
world.
jobs. So they put you in like, sorry, you meet up in a certain spot, right? And they'll come to you like the leader of the summer. We call it summer yummy money back then. That's what it was. So like, they'll come to you be like, yo, okay, you two are with them. You two are with them. You two are with them. So you two may go do the pool. Them two gonna play basketball, and me and him, we gonna do construction.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
And y'all got paid the same. You got
But
tourists.
the dope part I remember about this is the people who I was with. Everybody was hella cool, you know what I'm saying? Even though we was doing that, being around them made it fun. But I remember, because this is kind of like bring us back to what we're going to talk about later probably. I remember going to like a garage that they had, or like a little thing, and I remember seeing a green car. And I was like, that's dope. But back then, it didn't really mean anything to me. But I remember seeing it. It was a green S14 240SX, just in the dark. And I think back sometimes, like, damn, that car's still there, bro. I'll go back and get that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as, did you ever, before you went to the Army, did you ever get like a
Navy.
job? Navy, my bad, I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah,
Before I went to the Navy,
did you ever have
yeah.
like
So,
a job that you clock in, like for real?
all right. So, in school, I did all right. I wasn't like a top student, like, you know what I'm saying? I got regular grades, whatever. But my last year, my guidance counselor was like, yo, you're not gonna graduate. You're not gonna walk down the thing with your class. I was like, why not? They were like, because you gotta do 2 more credits for math. I'm like, y'all now telling me this? Like, you're a guidance counselor. How are you now telling me I'm not gonna graduate? So I was kind of pissed off about it, you know what I'm saying? And ironically, before that, I was actually supposed to go to the military, and then because of that, it got pushed off. So I'm going to night school to graduate. So typically I was going to school in Brooklyn, but because of, one, my job I had at the time, and then 2, the locations that had the availability for that class, I went to school in Hell's Kitchen. First time going to school outside of Brooklyn in Manhattan. When I got there, I was like, why the fuck didn't I go to school out here in the first place? There was so many girls. Oh my God, bro. You have to it's like Manhattan, so all the kids from Spanish Harlem come down in that school, all the kids from Lower Manhattan come down in that school. It was like a party every day. Like, we're in class, we're doing our work and shit, but most of the time, like, we are literally talking, like, bullshitting. But yeah, so after that, I was working for McDonald's, ironically.
I was gonna make a joke and
McDonald's.
say that. You worked at McDonald's too, right?
Deadass, bro. So it's funny though because
You want to bring it up, right?
Ketchup, mustard, onions,
Bro.
pickles, cheese, patty, flips, send down. Next order.
yo, so
Never forget, you heard?
it's funny because the McDonald's I worked at, they just opened up. So the owner was like, recruiting people to come work, and they were trying to like do something different. So Buddy was like, yo, we want to do a doorman. So they had a doorman working in the front. He would like, open the door, let people in, whatever. And I was like working the fries, the soda machine, pretty much it. And then I'll help stock shit at night, whatever, right? So then one day the doorman quit, and he was like, so we needed a doorman. And I was like, I'll do it.
That's probably the easiest job.
You know what I'm saying? You would think that. When it's cold as shit,
You outside.
sucks. So I was a doorman.
You just opening the door, that's all it is?
Opening the door, let people in, open the door, let people in. But you meet people talk to you, and people are like, oh, it's a doorman. And ironically, I was in the Daily News.
Oh, really?
From that, yeah. McDonald's first doorman.
Oh, yeah, you're a legend.
Yeah, big legend.
You're a legend, bro.
So
Legend.
I still have that article to this day. But one day some random dude came to me. He was like, "Yo, looking for a job?" And I was like, "I might be." And he was like, "Well, my law firm is hiring in the mailroom." So I was like, "Well, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna give you my information, blah blah blah." I'm like, "I bet." So give me his info, and then when doing the doorman was like part of it, but like another part I had to go inside with the coffee, like the coffee store. They had like an actual coffee shop inside there as well, which is actually another first thing for any McDonald's to ever have was actual coffee spot. So after McDonald's, I worked at a law firm for like a year, and then that's when I went to the military. If it's okay, can I segue to something real quick, if possible? So you're talking about the military, right? This dude down the block from me, he was in the military, and I always see him like pull up in like nice cars and shit, you know what I'm saying? And I remember at one point I wasn't gonna go. I was like, man, fuck this, I ain't gonna go. I'm trying to be a rapper. Literally, that was my goal. So I was walking up the street one night, and he's like, yo, I heard you decided to change your mind and not go. I was like, yeah, man, I'm about to be a rapper. He's like, bruh. So he was like, he's pretty much like sat me down. He's like, yo, I know you want to choose his rap career, but yo, like, trust me, doing this will probably change your life faster and for the better. He was like, you gonna leave and go to the military and then not realize that the same shit you left, when you come back, it's the same shit going on. The same people in the same spot, when you come back, they're gonna be in that same spot. He said, you're gonna be on that boat in the middle of the ocean one night, whatever job you're doing, you're gonna look up in the sky like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I wish I was back home. When you come home, you're gonna realize like, damn, everybody doing the same exact shit. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Everybody that left, they came back. I'm still cutting hair.
Wait, what?
That shit not stopping, bro. That shit just won't end, bro.
Yo, but it's growth. It's growth.
I'm making a joke.
It's funny. It's funny because I can only imagine a place like New York, like where people don't leave their block. You know how crazy it is to say that you don't leave your block for 30, 40 years?
Yo.
That's the crazy part.
Bro, whenever my clients come home, I literally say all the time, like, same shit out here, bro. I'm cutting hair. This guy's still locked up. This guy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't missing nothing. That's what I always tell them.
When you joined the military, I'm just interested in knowing your journey because the difference between the culture shock, right? Going through boot camp and then how was it when you got through boot camp? You know, because it's something you have to do, right?
I was like, these niggas is country as shit. Bro, if you one thing about New Yorkers is like, we think anybody past Jersey is country. Back then. Now it's different.
Yeah.
Anybody past Jersey is country. So like, all the people I was starting to meet, Mobile, Alabama, Tennessee.
That's country though.
Florida, you know what I'm saying? My boy Richard, this motherfucker, put me on a Boosie and type shit. You know, I'm like, who the fuck is Lil Boosie?
It's funny because I feel like New Yorkers, like real New Yorkers, only care about New York.
Bro,
yeah, for sure.
Everything else could die. Like, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to New Yorkers, but I'm guessing like for you, I guess that's what it means. Like you pulled up, you were like, wait, what?
That's exactly how it was, bro. Like the military changed my whole outlook on life. And everything.
What job did you have in the Navy? Like, what was your first position, like first MOS?
So I was it's called a deck seaman, no Diddy. Literally would help moor the boats to the water, to the fucking, damn, it's been so long, I can't remember what it's just called. But I will help the ships moor to land. So they have what's called pad eyes. You would take the rope and you put it on there or whatever and do that. But we also help paint the ship. We would help do non-skid. It's literally like the bottom of the bottom as far as jobs in the military. If you join the military and you say, oh, you don't know what to be, if you get a really low score, which I did, you start at there, the bottom. So it's deck seaman.
So you got a low score on your ASVAB.
Yeah, hell
and then that led to this position. Still good, you're still in the military. So you say you did 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
So obviously you re-enlisted at one point. So at what point, like what convinced you to re-enlist? You know
so I started as a deck seaman, right? And then
I'm trying to see a difference
when
between
you're
New York
a deck
and
seaman, you have the option to what's called like get another job, or you could be what's called a bosun's mate. The bosun's mate is who looks over the deck seaman. So if they want to, you can say, okay, cool, I kind of like being here. I don't mind being a bosun's mate, and the bosun's mate will get more deck seaman. You'd be like over them. But I didn't like that job at all. Like to me, the Bosa's mate was kind of like the lower tier of what jobs are. Not saying the job's not important, but it's not what I wanted to do. So my guidance concert back then, he was like, okay, here are the jobs you may qualify for. And they gave me jobs. And I was like, damn, none of you should sound interesting except for this job. It's called AO, Aviation Ordnanceman, IOUS. So IOUS means if you ain't ordnance, you ain't shit, right? Aviation Ordnanceman is a super tight-knit group that deal with weapons on planes or helicopters or now drones, right? So I became an Aviation Ordnanceman, and he was like, you can go either one of two places. You can go to Virginia on the boat, or you go to Fallon, Nevada. So me being in the military, I'm like, ain't no water in Fallon, Nevada. Being in the Navy, because I'm thinking ship is you always have to be on a ship. That's when I found out that aviation ordnancemen don't be on ships all the time. They can go be on like a shore duty area, and that's their main station, but they deal with jets all the time.
Shore duty.
It wasn't even shore duty though.
No, because it was a whole different area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went to Fallon, Nevada, which is a small town in Nevada, about an hour from Reno, about 4 to 5 hours from Vegas. And that's where they actually filmed Top Gun at recently. While I was there was a lot of talk about they're coming to film Top Gun, coming to film Top Gun. They never did. But I was there for 3 years, and then from there I went to Lemoore, California for another 4 years, I think it was. Sorry, capping. I went from New York to Florida, then I went to Maryland. What was the opposite? From New York to Maryland, then to Florida, and then to Fallon, and then to Lemoore. So 3 different states. At that point, I didn't hit no ships yet. I didn't hit a ship until I got to Lemoore.
How many years has it been?
So that was probably like a solid 6, 7 years in.
You had one hell of a
No
different
ships.
experience.
Yeah.
Bro, it was.
That's all you think about when you think
And he
of
went
Navy.
from
Loved
like
it,
being
bro.
on one
That's
block,
dope.
now
Loved
traveling to traveling
Yeah.
the world, bro.
Yeah,
Traveling the
that's so
U.S.
cool,
you know what I'm
The
saying?
best place, though, I would say that I love the most. I love Florida. I love Reno, Nevada, bro, or Fallon, Nevada. It's like its own little city, but
So close to everything over there too.
not even that.
I was saying like to the West Coast, you could fly out if you wanted to.
But when you get to Reno, being from New York, you know what I'm saying? Nobody really knows fashion. So when you outside, you know, with the drip and all that, being fly, everybody's like, damn, who's that? So a funny story, in Reno, I was still heavy in cars, right? I had a Maxima back then. I built like crazy sound system. And me and my boy went out one night to a frat party. And at the frat party was Colin Kaepernick, because he used to play for Nevada's team.
Yeah.
So he
college.
and he was in their fraternity. So they wasn't letting no dudes in. They was letting all females in.
Yeah.
And then they was like handpicking dudes like, oh, you, because me and my boy, like we were dressed differently from everybody else, because where we from, they let us in, and that's pretty much, we hung out at that point in time at that party, and it was just a vibe, man. Like just being in that area, being in a different atmosphere. Went to Vegas a couple of times, went to Sacramento because it was so close. It was dope.
So when you got back at one point, I'm sure, to New York, did you get that like, whoa, this really hasn't changed moment?
Yeah, it was the same shit. It was literally, I'll go see my boy because I was my boy had his son, I was his godfather, so I'll go see them. I'll go see my parents because they're still living in New York at that time. But everything was still the same. Niggas were still doing the same shit, still on the same blocks, still fighting over the same blocks, still crackheads roaming around.
What brought you to Florida?
My parents lived here, and then my boy, who I was stationed in Nevada with, he moved here because me and him got like real close. So I was living in Lemoore, and I visited Orlando for like 2 nights. And I was like, okay, if I could go anywhere, where to be. I hated Virginia, didn't want to go out to New York, didn't want to go to Jersey, didn't want to go out to Fallon or Reno area, didn't want to stay in California because of all the rules on car regulations or smog and all that. So the only place I could really think of where I could be around people was Florida.
So hold on. So what made you lock in here?
All right.
I guess you answered that, no?
Nah, not really.
Not really.
Not
No.
really.
He said he
It's
might have. He just kind of like settled.
Like think about it now. Like it's a lot that kind of like intertwines and connects. That comes like. So I mean, it's gonna like it might fuck your head up a little bit how this all connects. So I was in California, right? I had started my brand Swerve, and I had 2 cars. I had my 240 and a Maxima.
How old were you when you started the brand?
I don't remember, bro.
What year was this? Do you know?
That actually like.
That you kind of like said, I'm gonna.
It wasn't a brand.
Was it in Cali though?
It was in Cali. I started Swerve. It was probably like 26, 27 maybe.
Okay, keep going.
And I was there, and the scene out there was cool, but it wasn't like big. So I was on a computer one day on Facebook, and I seen an event happen here in Orlando, and it's called Mystery Meet.
Hey, yo.
What the fuck is this?
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
That's crazy, bro.
That just fucked me up.
No,
That
but
is
it's.
crazy.
I know exactly.
Mystery.
The funny thing is, yo, shout
Why'd
out.
you dap me up a Mystery Meet? No,
You stuck
pause.
your hand out for some mystery meet that. Look at
Hey,
that.
first of all, shout out
Come
Robbie.
on.
Yes, Robbie, right? B2
So-
Lab. Shout
so-
out Robbie.
Shout out Robbie, but
So
holla
I-
at me.
V,
AI, we can
Robbie,
get some.
you heard?
So
Robbie,
here's-
right?
names, V.
Mystery me, he don't know.
And that's
Yo,
actually
you're a funny guy.
That's actually
He's ahead of his time.
the running joke behind that, believe it or not. So here's how it all kind of like intertwines. So I seen Mystery Me online. It was happening in downtown Orlando, and I was like going through the photos. I was like, I need to go wherever the fuck that's at, because my mom like I want to take. I didn't think about Swerve being like a big brand. It was much like, yo, it's a car group. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I even moved here, ironically, because I saw Mystery Me happen in Orlando.
Let me add some info. Let me add some
Mystery
info.
meet is
Hold
what
up.
brought you to Orlando.
I gotta add some flavor here because
Hey,
I remember
Alright, now my mind's
flavor
fucked.
to the mystery me.
Hey,
heard?
pause to the Mystery Me. Pause.
we're done.
Look. I'm from here, right?
Yeah.
So I love cars since I was young. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I love it specifically. My thing is like JDM cars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like I love European. I love domestic. You know, but JDM cars is
that
my.
Slam or
is-
something?
No, because it could be any different style, but mostly cars from Japan. That's my thing, right? And I remember V2 Lab hosting this mystery meet downtown in Mo. I'm telling you, first one you
Nuts.
pull up, it almost feels like Hot Import Nights meets Fast and Furious meets a Need for Speed game. Like you're talking about the whole, every single inch of downtown is taken over. Under the bridges, all those parking lots are full of cars. People are coming from everywhere. I'm talking about Miami, Daytona,
There's a lot of
Tennessee.
mad Karens on the road.
No,
day.
it's shut down. But then the
I'm saying they're
businesses are doing
pissed.
crazy. Oh, they're pissed. They had to move it. And I remember going to these shows and being like, I want to build a car. And at the time, I didn't have money for a car. I'm trying to make ends meet with my wife. I'm young. I'm trying to get an apartment with my wife. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, one day I'll be able to build a car. And it's funny that in my mind, as that I'm processing this walking mystery me, you're like, I gotta go over there. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty cool, bro.
So and then I guess here's kind of how it ties in. When I moved here, one of my friends from the military, he was like, yo, you gotta get in contact with this guy. I'm like, who the fuck is this? It was Ravi.
Ravi, yeah.
Because they both owned Evos. They both know Evos. They both knew each other from the forums. So he was like, yo,
Yo,
like,
shout out Robbie's Evo too.
yo,
That'd be
big-
crazy.
big
I ain't
shout
gonna
out,
hold
big
you.
shout out.
Big shout out. Crazy.
So he actually called me and Ravi on three-way, and Ravi was like, yeah, I heard about you. Like, you have a 240. He was like, I was like, yeah. He's like, all right. First thing you need to do is you need to get 2 pit bulls, a gun, and always keep your car in the garage because it will get stolen here in Orlando. So I was like, what the fuck? So that was my first introduction to Ravi. Ironically, Ravi's not like my nigga, like
Yeah.
Ace Boon Coon type shit, you know what I'm saying? So you asked about my girlfriend. My girlfriend I knew from Brooklyn, right? We literally lived 5 blocks apart. My grandmother used to watch her sister and at the school. Okay. And I used to know her from church. We dated back then in Brooklyn, but I was in the military. So I would always come out to New York and see her, whatever, right? But you know, in the military, you have a girlfriend, but for me, I wasn't taking it seriously.
Yeah, and he was young. I mean.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? But she moved out to Georgia. So one day there's a dude named Joe, shout out to Joe, Southern Fresh in Atlanta. He had a show in Atlanta. And Joe's big OG in the Atlanta car scene, like hands down, one of the best car shows in Atlanta, period. Ravi's like, I'm gonna see my boy Joe, we're going to his show, you wanna come up with us? And ride with me? I was like, I bet. At that moment in time, I ain't gonna lie, I probably was talking to like a bunch of different females, but I always thought to myself, like, I'll get back with my girlfriend who I'm talking to now. So when we went out there, I was like, yo, you mind dropping me at this girl's house? He's like, who? I was like, this girl I used to talk to back in the day. He's like, I'll drop you there, whatever. So he dropped me there, spent the night, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then ever since then, me and her pretty much started talking again.
Really?
So shout out to Ravi for one, hosting the dopest event in Florida, and then for me moving here, and then taking me to go see my girl, which is now my kid's mother.
That's fine, man.
And
Beautiful daughter, man. I love your
yeah,
daughter, bro.
yeah.
She's
Every
awesome,
time she
bro.
sees you,
Even though she be bossing you around and
Oh, yeah,
shit.
a little bit.
She be in
Show
here
me,
like,
show me,
hurry
right?
up,
she be
babe.
like, yo, we gotta go. Hurry up, dad.
So she's the reason you late.
You own some time, yeah.
Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. Having a kid, son, it be the kid sometimes. You be everything's perfect, and then y'all gotta go to the
Diaper.
bathroom. You're like, bathroom? Like,
Literally, like, you walk out of the house, like, we gotta go. God damn, the tablet.
yeah.
Literally, get the tablet.
Fuck the tablet. Alright, get the tablet.
So,
That's exactly how it is.
so at what point do you build your brand? Because your brand now is obviously pretty big, right? But at what point do you go into these shows? Did you say, hey, I want to do more than just merch? I want to do shows as well, or what it was?
That's the thing. I wasn't even thinking.
It was
that
organic.
far.
It just kind of went on its own.
I was thinking like, get a couple more cars, be in the crew. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking car crew because in California that was a big thing, car crew
thing,
culture.
yeah.
Like, you never heard of Envious?
I do. I know.
You know Envious,
Yeah.
right? So Envious is a crew in California. Back then, probably like 2013, 2014, when they first started, they were huge. So I know the owner who started Envious. I remember seeing him bannering cars in the parking lot. So that's kind of where I got the idea from.
Let me explain this real quick, all right? Just outside looking in. New York. New York is very cliquey.
Yeah.
Very cliquey. Like, ride or die, this is your corner, this is your friend, whether it's gangs, whatever it is, right? Fast forward, he's into cars. The car scene is very cliquey. And there's nothing better than pulling up
Wait
with
till
a
I
group.
pull up on the scene.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing better than pulling up with a group of fresh cars. Something about that, it's like, with the banner and everything, it's like, damn, that team crazy. That team, like, that's kind of, so when they come and park up, you almost, not to say it like this, but you do judge it by the weakest link.
Yeah.
So you pull up and you're like, okay, never mind, this team crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I can see how your mentality from back then transitioned into a position for you to be where you're at least in the whole thing of beginning the business. So you wanted to start as a car crew.
Yeah. that was
What
the
got
plan.
you into selling the merch and stuff, bro? Because I love your merch.
Seeing,
Me too. Fire. I ain't
And
gonna lie.
I'm trying to sell
appreciate
merch
it.
right now myself. Shout out
Yeah.
Popular by Purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's what we trying to do. But
Yeah, shout out popularity. They
Yeah.
didn't even start printing with us. You feel me? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
facts.
So all right.
Facts.
So I started the whole reason why I started merch. I started seeing these other brands and what they were doing. I started taking notes. Started being a fly in the room with certain things and
Business.
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
I wish I wore my shirt, man.
I rock. You should have, bro.
I was a
for
lawyer today.
My
My
bad for forgetting your shirt, bro. I apologize.
I'm worried next episode. Keep
So I actually
That's gonna be the reason he late to the next cut. He gonna wear his shirt.
the first mystery meet I went to, I was actually a worker.
Okay.
I was one of the volunteers to help direct traffic and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you
So
was die hard.
yeah, like
That's tough. Though.
I literally started from the when niggas say the bottom, I started from the bottom, bro. I had my camera. I was applying to be media for these big car companies. You know what I'm saying? Like I came over an email the other day of me applying to try and shoot for Slam Enough, which is like one of the biggest car shows in the States. And I remember seeing it. Hey, my name is Dan, blah, blah. I would love to shoot for you guys. I put photos of my work on the thing. They never responded. I was like, that's
Do
crazy.
you go to the Slam Enough of shows? I'm trying to go to Gatlinburg this year. I told you this already. We gotta get a spot
Bro,
together. Or
Gat-
save me a spot in the parking lot. I'm
Bro,
trying to get my car
Gatlinburg
done.
different. Gatlinburg different, man. So, all right.
Yeah.
You're saying about how it transitioned.
How they transition into the brand that it is today. You know, there had to be a moment, or I mean, I understand growth. That's the thing. I understand growth. Growth is something that sometimes you don't control. It just, as long as you were a hardworking individual, or you just keep one step at a time, you're gonna grow in anything, right? So I obviously know that your brand started off more of like boots on the ground. I'm gonna be in this work and I'm gonna pay attention, I'm gonna learn, and that's how business is. You learn and you apply, right? At what point did you kind of say like, whoa, I kind of got like my own motion here?
I'm really trying to think of where I even started at. I feel like it started when I started going to these shows and I started seeing people with tents and I was like, well, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So
Like vendors.
yeah, I started seeing vendors. I could do that. I mean, I was rolling around with like 7, 8 cars, fire viral shit that people who was at that moment in time bigger on the internet. So I bought like a tent from Amazon, and ironic too, because once again, shout out to Ravi because he put me on to a lot of things about how to go a certain way, what to do, how to structure certain things. And I feel like he's one of the people who told me about the tent. Like, you just buy a tent, get some vinyl, get it printed out, and have this dude right here heat press it on for you. So that's why I started. I started with a black tent. No, I tell you, I started with a blue tent. Blue tent was trash, Walmart. So I bought a black tent, had my logo and everything printed on there. And that's kind of how it started. It started from me seeing other vendors at events, and I was like, yeah, I could do that.
I was at Kanjo night with you, and that was an incredible show, bro. And I remember that show was so crazy, Mo. It got shut down. Like,
Shout out to Papa Flirt, who hosted that event.
yo, that event was insane.
Big
I
A
remember
Thomas.
pulling up. My man Dan was like, yo, like some guys dropped out, cause things happens, like, and you kind of still want to show, you still want to have a car at the show to represent the brand. And it was me, Scunty, shout out Scunty, shout out Diego, the 180. And I think your car was still getting worked on because his car is crazy. He was still building it. And we pulled up. I'm talking about, bro, Dan gets us on the roof. Like, this is like VIP parking. Dan gets us on the roof. Incredible parking.
I remember that.
The show's
When
so
we was
crazy.
talking about it. That's
Bro,
when you came back with the sticker.
Bro, straight up. Shout out
Yeah.
Swerve, bro, for life, you heard? We get to the show. The show's so crazy that like they're telling people you can't come in. Bro, they shut down the whole, what is it, I-4 over there?
Yeah, we're doing the main, international
Yeah.
drive.
I drive, bro, it got shut down. Cops show up.
Cops,
Talking about
yeah.
like mad cops. Like, yo, this is like creating a 2-hour traffic jam everywhere. It was insane. I seen Dan from the moment that tent gets set up, when they open that bottom door for people to come in. I'm talking about like selling like the I tell everybody there's a certain ambition people have. I seen him really like go. Like where I went and I brought him lunch and he just put it under the table and he just selling. I'm talking it was like sale after sale after sale. He never, bro, literally took a slice, came back, was like, yeah, I got you that. Like I'm talking about that hustle is something you're like born with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine how much better you got at that from the moment you started. You know? So it was pretty dope
And
to see.
saying you
It was
started from the-
motivational for me, by the way. For me and
Appreciate it,
Dave.
bro.
Started from the bottom in your industry. It's like it reminds me of when I was begging people to cut their hair, you know. So as far as you gotta have a lot of confidence to do what you're doing, you know what I mean, to get to where you're at. Like you don't get there without confidence, right?
Shout out Brooklyn.
How
Real.
yeah, right?
Shout out East New York. The gutter.
How was it? I guess, I'm sure a lot of people said no, like you just said, the email that you just ran across, you know. So how is it as far as just trying to push through and get to where you're at today? You know what I'm saying? With all the doubters and whatever.
I will say that I feel like I had a leg up coming in because one, I really deeply cared about this shit. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I was doing car shit before clout even existed. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
Instagram and stuff, yeah.
So
Before
it's
social.
like back home in Brooklyn, we built cars for females. I have a friend named Sheldon. He would always come pick me up. We just go around Brooklyn, just picking them, talking to girls and stuff like that. So when I built my Maxima that I used to have, I built that car for females. I built my 240. It was never supposed to be something that was supposed to look nice. It's supposed to be a race car. That's my whole thing. Race car. I ended up getting it painted and ended up looking nice. So when I came here, it was already like, damn, whose car is this? I've never seen this car before. It's clean. And 240 owners, typically there are 10 colors and all this other shit. So that was my leg up. People were already like, damn, what's Swerve? It's a dope car. So I won't say that people are saying no, but I feel like you're saying, with my hustle and my carbs and my brand, I kind of saw the formula of how I could come into this and take off. You know what I mean,
the name itself is super catchy, but how'd you come up with it?
I was in my living room one day in my boxers playing video games, and I was like, Swerve on these niggas. Swerve. I'm like, that'd be a good name.
This is a tough ass name.
Low key.
I love it.
But I didn't want to spell it with an E though.
I was gonna say why you
I didn't want
left
to
the
spell
E,
it
bro.
because when I looked online, I was like, well, damn, all these other brands have Swerve with E, but I didn't really see a clothing brand that had Swerve. And then there was a magazine, if you Google it, a magazine that had Swerve with an E. It was a gay magazine, so I was like, definitely can't do that. You know what I mean?
I gotta ask you this, bro. First of all, I want to first give a big shout out to the guys who don't gatekeep, because hard work, you know, sometimes someone works so hard that someone can gatekeep, and obviously Robbie didn't gatekeep for you. He kind of gave you game, and when we started doing our brand thing, and Dan already had his events, Dave and I were like, man, we should, you know, go. This is before you guys even came into the shop, right? We didn't even have this, and we're like, we should go.
Shout out to y'all for this.
That was your
yo.
day one, Chilani.
No, I'm saying before we even like had a physical location, like we were still in Oviedo, and like
I was there. Okay.
yeah, you had came to us, came with us, bro, and I remember
seeing this nigga for the first time. Like, who the fuck is this big ass nigga?
And the thing-
No Diddy.
yeah, he lost a lot of weight. Shout out to his weight loss journey. I
lying.
remember Dan hosted an event, and we had like a little Academy Sports tent, and we're like, man, we come to his show, we're like, man, we can do this here and other places, and we wanted to get a tent for like when we go to UCF or when we go to the tailgates.
Chill out. Got the
No,
job done.
I know, and they got the job done.
I still got it.
But we like started looking online, and we're just like, man, and Dan could have gate kept, and he literally was like, this is the price. You save all this money here, and he gave us a crazy deal. We got a fire tent that we post, and like me seeing him do it allowed us to feel confidence, and then him seeing Robbie do it. So it's crazy how you keep the right people, that right network in your circle, bro.
Facts.
Jamaican car scene is insane.
Bro.
First and foremost, I want to say something, man. Shout out Jamaica, bro, when it comes to cars.
Big shout out.
When it comes to cars, because we're talking about not just the island, not just
And
the
the jerk
yard.
chicken.
Yeah, shout out the jerk chicken. Not just the yard, but Jamaica's in London too, bro.
Yeah.
In UK. So I follow Jamaican car
Influence heavy.
enthusiasts that are
Yeah.
influencers
Yeah.
in the UK, in the BMW scene, in the Honda scene. They're all Jamaican, bro, and they're like the guys in New York, and it's crazy. Like,
Like,
you know what I'm saying? It really is crazy.
RIP to what's that dude's name?
Young bull that died in the M2. That
I
shit
don't
was
remember his
sad,
name,
bro.
but
That
RIP
shit
to
was
him.
sad.
He's Jamaican too, and
Jamaican, yeah.
he was going crazy online.
He was going
man.
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
But he really was wilding for that.
I just want to know what's one piece of advice that stuck with you. Maybe at a young age, yesterday. What the fuck is it?
I won't say advice, bro. I think what stuck with me is how hard my parents worked. You know what I mean? Like, my dad, I feel like, has been an entrepreneur majority of his life. He had like a 9 to 5 as well, but my dad was an OG selling Avon and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know what Amway is, but back then he used to sell Amway. And they used to do taxes. I look back now, I remember one time he tried to sit me down when I was in high school. He was like, here's how you do taxes. And I was like, man, I ain't trying to learn this shit.
Yeah, fact.
Now I'm like, damn, bro, I wish I learned that shit. But
Are they still with us? Your parents?
my dad, yeah. They both for us.
Awesome.
So seeing my parents work hard, but seeing my dad and how he moved as an entrepreneur definitely, I feel, put certain key things in how I operate that made me to who I am, that made me want to choose this part of what I do.
You know, you've had shows everywhere across the globe, you know,
Yeah.
Japan and everything.
Yeah.
Is there one that is your favorite?
Japan! Straight up.
Yeah.
Japan, bro.
Yeah.
Hop on, you heard?
I gotta look off in the distance because Japan was just different, bro.
Yeah. What are some places that you've been though?
In Japan or in general?
No, in general, I had a show.
Had a show. Florida, Texas, Houston. So Orlando, Daytona, Florida, Houston, Texas, a place called Fresno, California, and Japan in Hiroshima. The reason why I feel Japan means so much to me because we grew up looking at Japan as our idol of what car culture is.
Even Too Fast, Too Furious.
You know what I'm saying?
Or Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo
whatever.
Drift, you know what I mean?
Facts.
I remember the night I bought my ticket to Tokyo, and I feel like I had like what's that shit you call when you envision things
Like
and
a
it actually
surreal
comes
moment,
true?
like-
Nah, not a surreal moment. It's called something else.
Manifestation?
There you go,
Yeah.
manifestation. I went to dream. In my dream, I had a dream that I was in the car with my friend from Japan, and we were driving around Japan, and that's legitimately what happened. Japan is number one. Japan is one of the most cleanest places ever. Everybody's super nice. The food's always good, but one thing I feel like people don't talk about the most is just how respectful the culture is. No matter who you are, they're very respectful about people, period. But the biggest reason why I love Japan the most as far as hosting my event is because I haven't been able to go back there again to replicate it. Mainly because of
Not yet.
not yet. Mainly because of issues with finding a location and actually building that location in that area. But we did it for 2 years, and each
That's
year
dope.
people drove from 8-10 hours to go to our event in Hiroshima. It was in a park, and when I went, it actually rained all day. So we had clear umbrellas. Everybody's walking around, and
That's cool.
it low-key felt like a celebrity moment because, you know what I mean, people heard us swerve.
Fucking Japan.
You know what I'm saying? Japan.
So cool, bro.
Take a
I
picture
don't
with
know.
you,
I
like,
think it's so cool. You know what's crazy?
It's fire,
I
bro.
That's crazy.
I'm new to the car scene. I'm new.
What?
I've been in cars. I've been
Yeah.
into cars for a long time, but my build is new to the car scene, right? And I remember this kid that I followed when I first got my car. I followed him because I loved his car, bro. And then he ended up following me. He's from Japan. He ended up following me when my car got like posted by Clean Culture. Shout out Clean Culture. So Clean Culture posted
Clean Culture, for
posted my car. I think I don't know who runs their IG page, but for an event, they actually ran my car as the event picture for like 2 months.
Yeah, I remember.
And the guy
He was
that
talking about it.
I couldn't believe it because the guy, all that mattered was that guy that I followed for my inspiration for my build followed me back.
so dope.
And I wrote to him like, yo, I love your build, bro. Like you're big. Straight up to him, you're a big inspiration. And ever since then, we go back and forth like each other's pictures. So for me, if you ever go back to Japan, as soon as you buy that ticket, just call me Kessie.
He talks about Japan once a week,
look,
bro.
When I told Dave we're going to Japan, we're swerving. Dave been waiting like this,
Bro,
just waiting to put on the company
everybody
card. You
in
heard?
the
He like
group-
swipe.
Everybody in the group is like, when are we going back? When are we going back? When are we going back? I'm like,
Crazy.
yo, it's not me. I'm like, if it was up to me, we'd be there right now.
I get it. It's
but-
probably so hard to like. They're very probably strict with how you host events. Here, you kind of get away with stuff, and it's
So-
crazy because you actually are a vendor. Sorry,
Yeah.
real quick. He's a vendor,
Yeah.
and he has his own shows. So that's just places that he has had shows at. Because as a vendor, he's been everywhere, bro.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere. Like he goes to every. If he gets a show, he
I
can be there.
seen
He's gonna
where I
be
got
there.
my shirt that was Clean Culture.
Yeah.
You weren't even there.
Nah, I was in
No.
California.
I remember I seen the swerve. I was like,
Yeah.
and then
He has his-
you know,
bro, he
you
don't
know
pull-
when
he
you
don't
know
stop.
somebody, but like all those guys that were in your booth, like they didn't know I really
Byron,
knew you.
Matt,
So they was
Jordan,
dubbing my shit like, tell them boys
Shout out to
humble
them.
up.
Shout out to the whole Swerve crew.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, but I told him I was like, nah, I know Dan, and then he didn't answer and shit. I was like, all right, bro, let me look back.
Yeah, not
Hey, what's
I didn't want
Big
to buy the
Byron's
shirt even
nigga
fit. I
name,
still
bro?
bought the shit.
Byron, shout
that's
out
my
Byron,
G.
man.
Shout out to Byron.
Give
Shout out to
Byron a
Byron.
shout out, man.
Shout
That's
out
my
to
boy,
Matt.
man.
Shout out
Every
to
time I see
Jordan.
The dude
Shout
with the
out to
braids
whole
took care of
Swerve
me.
team.
You cut him a few times.
Matt.
Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clean ass braids.
Shout out Matt.
Yeah.
You know who that is? That's
Yeah, Jay brother.
Yeah, Jay brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Jay too, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Jay too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, is there like a dream location you want to go to?
Jamaica.
Ooh, got to. Hell yeah.
A Jamaica car show will go crazy too. They got so, bro. I'm telling you, they have so many car enthusiasts there. Bro.
Yeah, it's tough.
They
And
have so many there, bro.
Jamaica, I take that back. 2 places.
But you got to Jamaica. You got to.
Jamaica. But
Don't
number
leave
one,
me out. Don't leave me out though.
Number one, I
Let me
got
go
you.
with you. Let me
Is
go
New
with you.
York.
I was gonna say Jamaica Queens as a joke.
That's my number one. New York. The reason why is because I feel that's where it all started. You know what I'm saying? It's the idea of loving cars. So New York is like my dream location, but I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be in Jersey. I don't want it to be upstate. I don't want it to
It's
be
just so hard because I'm sure there's not enough property for you to host.
that right
Like I be following people out there, and like there's just no. It's not like this parking garage or that one. It just doesn't exist like that.
And a lot of things have changed in New York too, like the politics about how things can go, and then takeovers. Fuck the whole scene.
That killed everything.
Fuck takeovers, by the way.
Yeah.
Fuck takeovers.
And that's the thing. We're trying to host a show, obviously, with you, because it's great marketing. Obviously, barbershops and car shows go together like peanut butter and jelly, bro.
I just want to say real quick.
Yeah.
I was the first one. You know what I'm saying, like Soulja Boy, to have barbers at my event with the chair. They weren't cutting here, but
we were there.
You know what I'm saying? That was fire.
You got a little mustache shaped up on Dave.
Yeah, you're right.
He did.
You know what I'm saying? But New York and Jamaica. Jamaica definitely, because Jamaica like,
you can find land to do it at too. That's like a real, like, that can actually be motion. Because that New York, I heard horrible stories about New York. When it comes to permitting and stuff, horrible stories.
It's the location I found, don't repeat that. The location that I have in New York, they only allow it during a certain period. They don't allow it any time in the summertime because it's a public area where people go swimming. Jones Beach, people go swimming out over there, so they can't do it then. And at the time I had it locked in, the date and everything. They're like, you can't do it in this date because we have
such and such
a marathon going. And like, damn. So that kind of died. And people have been waiting. They're like, yo, as soon as you get it, we're trailing our cars up there.
Thanks.
No cap. And I talked to my boy today. He was like, yo, what's up with New York? I'm like, bro, how might that happen? He's like, why? I was like, one, the location, they told me this. And then the other location I wanted, they want like 30 racks. And I was like, I'm not doing that right now. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot to put up. Not saying I can't do it, because I can. It's just, with the market right now, up there, it's a lot of saturation. Period, anywhere actually, but up there it's very saturated. So I'll be taking a big risk doing that.
Thanks. So with, you said you've had the passion about cars since you were young. What about fashion?
My shit, bro.
Same shit?
Yeah, I used to be that, like, you know Cameron, right? Mason Cameron?
Of course.
Like, bro, so I used to be that dude that, like my favorite rappers, that's why I used to pink, you know what I'm saying? I used to wear pink shirts, had a pink phone. Always, let me repeat that. When I got older and I was able to afford my own clothes, I was always dripped out. So when I was younger, my parents, they couldn't really afford like fly clothes and shit like that. I had to wear like old ass felines to school and all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up.
Still dripped though back in the day, chill out.
Nah, back then.
2 for 69.
In the South,
No, listen.
In the South.
Chill out. The tall tees.
Up there was a New Year.
It's not the fila boots.
The fila straps, V?
No, I didn't have those.
Oh, you had the Ross filas.
I had the bullshit.
You had the Ross filas.
I had
I had the bullshit. Yo, you know,
Man, sonny.
when Payless was a thing, that's where we used to go, was Payless.
Hey, you had the Payless.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes
so
sense.
it was, but when I actually started getting like, be able to buy my own shit, like I was always dripped out. Like fashion was always my thing. You know what I'm saying? I think growing up in New York, if you weren't fly, you were just like made fun of, you know what I mean? So I had to make sure I was straight, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you would literally be the butt of a joke for the entire night. Like, look at your sneakers, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember my mom one time, remember Jabots, when it was like popping?
Yeah.
And my mom, she, I had bought some Jabots from a place called Jimmy Jazz.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Jimmy Jazz is a store in New York that's super popping back in the day.
There was one here.
There's one here too?
Yeah, there was.
So
They spread.
yeah? So I bought a pair of Jabots from Jimmy Jazz, the reflective joints with the straps. Like I was crispy, you know what I mean? I had bought new J's, and I wore them once to a party. I got some shit spilled on them, so I took them to my thing. My mom's washed them shits, bro.
Sick.
Always mom
Sick,
do,
bro.
Jamaicans.
I'm talking about faded. It was
funny.
It was crusty, bro. And I was pissed because I spent like $90. You know what I'm saying?
That's how my mom was. My mom will wash it. My wife. Shout out my wife. I love her, bro.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten to the point where I just like right now this shirt got a big line right here,
Yeah.
and I can't get mad. She washed it, but like I'm like, yo,
That's how those shirts are,
you're not supposed to dry it. And she's
trying to get
everything in the dryer.
No, I'm telling you, that's
Everything in
how
the
those
dryer.
shirts are. Those, if that's American Apparel or if it's another brand, that's how they are.
I think this one might be this one is not LA. This is with the S.
Either way, those shirts over time.
They just get that wash print.
The
but wifey
sun-
always throws everything in the print.
The
I'm
sun,
like,
your
no.
sweat over. I have something very similar, same color, same thing happened right here. This just happens. But do you wash your shirts and
I wash
pants?
everything. I just try to like
me tell you something,
not
brother.
dryer.
I'm 30 years old. The clothes I care about,
Yeah.
Mom Dukes.
Mom Dukes wash?
I take it to Mom Dukes. Hey, Mom, you take care of this one for me. I don't want to mess this up.
Yo, no cap. All my clothes, if it's shirts, swerve shirts, or jeans,
Hang dry.
cleaners.
No, I had the ones I really care about.
No,
Clean.
yeah.
Like
All my shoes, look, I have a lot of
You
shoes.
can't
I
take the
love
risk,
shoes.
bro.
Yeah.
You can't take the risk, because then you take it to the cleaners from the day you get it, bro.
Yeah.
It'll
That's-
never
that's-
be a problem.
Last,
Yeah, that's
bro.
the one
Forever.
thing about
It'll
me,
never be
bro.
messed up, bro, unless you stain it.
That's
it.
the one thing about me, bro. I love whenever I get a chance to go to a wedding or anything. You know this. I always have my shoes tailored to the T. I'm talking about.
And then the next day, take it to the dry cleaner. after you wear it.
Everything I do is dry cleaner, bro. So it's like for me, I 100% agree. Like there's certain things you gotta go over there. You know what I mean? Certain jeans and stuff gotta go.
Let
over
me
there.
ask y'all a question. So before I even say anything, first of all, shout out to Popular. I was there from the beginning when niggas was in
From the idea.
in another shop. I can't remember the shop's name. I remember like, yo, we about to go to our own shop. We moved to Oviedo. I was like, damn, Dave, I'm already
Oviedo,
late as it
yeah.
is. I'm gonna be extra late now. So going over there, and then I remember y'all always talking about the vision y'all had, and I remember going to get a cut and talking to you, like, yo, I gotta go right now and freaking do the floors, do the goddamn the baseboards and that. I'm like, damn. So coming and seeing this, bruh, it's fire. Like for real, like for real.
Best shop in the O, man.
Appreciate y'all.
It's really
Hands down, look,
it's
yo,
the best shop in the world,
I
man.
kid you not. I'm very particular. I used to cut hair, bro.
I believe it.
That was one of my jobs.
Next.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it.
In the
Next.
military,
Yeah, I believe it. I believe
and I have
I believe that.
like 5 different clippers, bro. I used to in the Navy.
You made bread doing that too,
bro,
Like
in
on
the
the side.
Navy,
Yeah.
I was banking on deployment. Niggas are cutting my burden. Yo, I need a cut, bro.
$10, $5.
15, 20.
Ooh, you was
You know what I'm
knocking
saying?
them. Ooh.
Quick, easy too. I bet you easy.
Man.
Yo, hold on. All right.
Military cuts too? Easy.
Bro, cause like you gotta think about it. If you go
Against
to
the grain, everything.
if you go to day shift, they fucking you up. You know what I'm saying? So,
At least I'd rather go damn.
you know what I mean? Yeah. So
try.
I was killing it. But the fact that y'all saw this whole thing through, and there's not many barbershops I feel you go into, and it's actually well put together. Low key,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an interior designer at heart. So to come in here and see y'all, the way y'all laid it out, everything is clean, super minimalistic. Even the way you did the sound deadening is very like raw to the shop. It's a clean look, you know what I mean? So I salute y'all for putting
Appreciate
it
it.
together.
Shop
My
was
question
amazing,
is,
man.
what made y'all decide this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? I want to cut hair.
I had a dream.
Is it taxes?
I had a dream. And I said, I ain't gonna pay Sam nothing. Cash only, baby. No. Honestly, you know what's funny? Like the way this shop looks,
Yeah.
big shout out Dave and Tay, his wife Tay.
Yeah.
Cause I had an idea of how I wanted it, but it had to be like island stations, like what you see like this with the floating mirrors.
There's gonna be one long
Because
one in the middle.
I always think about marketing, and I think people need to market independently while still being wholesome together, right? And Tay came up with this amazing idea to make it work in here because of our limited space. And I think now we always wanted industrial we kind of knew the mirrors and everything, but once she laid it out this way, this is like from this point forward, I think every store has, it's like Target. You go to every single Target, you know what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Every store has to, this is like a one of one. How long have we been cutting hair for? There's no shop that looks like this,
There
bro.
isn't.
I'm not
There
trying to be
isn't.
funny.
This layout.
Like,
Yeah.
this layout's one of one. It's one of one.
Everybody's layout is always the same. Against the wall,
Yeah.
pods.
Yeah.
That's it. But to come inside here and see it looks more inviting when you walk inside here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You also don't have no chairs. Nobody can come in and sit down. You know what I mean?
but-
We have a waiting area in the back, but COVID
He's always
changed
late,
that.
so you never
But
gotta wait.
don't
You
see
feel me?
it, though. That's
No,
the
yeah,
thing.
and that's the thing. We wanted that in the back because
Yeah.
every time you walked in, it's always in the front.
Yeah.
Right? And you gotta sit right there in the front.
Yeah.
And we're like, yo, we want you to walk all the way through the shop, meet everyone, talk to everyone. So when you go to the back for the waiting area, you feel more invited. It's like me telling you, come inside my house,
Yeah.
not stay at the door. right? I'm saying, come inside my house. You walk in, you get to meet people. We have free drinks back there. We have a new TV we're gonna put it in the back over there for people to see like commercials. So we're gonna have like, for example, your brand. We'll put it on the rotating video. So on the ads, it's gonna be like an ad TV. So they're gonna see videos and YouTube things, and I just think it feels more inviting that way. That's how I always thought about it. But I will say this. Pandemic changed a lot, bro. Pandemic was like the reality of, you remember, like, it's, if you don't have an appointment, there's no walking in. It was required in the state of Florida when we first opened up.
That's true.
So then all of a sudden, like, you couldn't even wait in the shop, remember? We couldn't wait in the shop.
You wait outside in your car.
So you had to wait outside your car. So then it's like, you don't really need a huge waiting area. You actually kill your value of the business, because some shops, let's say a fourth of the shop was a waiting lobby. That's a fourth of the shop. You can add 2 more chairs. You can rent a smaller location and save money. So to have a huge waiting lobby, it really is like a huge waste of money, bro.
I remember going to a barbershop and like you're saying, like you would get there and you would sit. I remember sitting there for like 20, 30 minutes to get my cut. You know what I'm saying? Even when I went back to Brooklyn, a random dude who I found on Instagram, because I was like, I needed a cut for a wedding. I was like, my bad, Dave. I mean, cheat on you. You know what I'm saying? No diddy. So I went to Brooklyn. There was a dude, and when I went to his, I did a walk-in. But come to find out, he cut mad rappers' hair. I don't know if you know who, about 41, the group. So he cuts their hair and a bunch of other rappers' hairs. So with going there, I sat there with like mad other people. It just felt awkward. Compared to here, I sit for like 2 minutes. I'm next up.
I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't choose to cut hair, bro. Cutting hair chose me. I believe God has a purpose in your life. I truly believe that. God's purpose in your life and his destiny he has for you has already been pre-chosen. Now, that does not mean that you choose his destiny, okay? Just because God has a certain purpose and a certain destiny in your life doesn't mean that you choose it. It just so happens that cutting hair was something that chose me, right? Like, I come from a poor family. We couldn't afford to buy clothes, like you said. So the one thing I could afford when I was working these little crappy jobs was a haircut. At that, I'm Puerto Rican. The haircuts was cheap. It was like $10, $15. So I would go do newspapers, whatever it was, I would go get a cut. If I could afford 3 haircuts a week, that's still cheaper than a pair of feelers, bro. So I'm talking about in high school, I had a haircut nonstop, fresh. So
you was paying for them?
And I was paying for them. My mom didn't have no bread. I had one check went to my mom, one check went to me. Like it was that or you know. Cool. So I would sit there and go get my cut. And I remember, bro, like the first time I like just fell in love with this shop in Orlando, bro. It was I think it was called Slam Dunk Barbershop, and it was themed like a basketball court. Like the floors were wood, hardwood, and all the guys wore like referee jerseys. It was still basic, like, you know, mirrors and, you know, like a normal barbershop. But that was the first time I fell in love with a theme, like having themes and things looking certain ways. And so I started cutting hair, bro, just because I needed to provide for myself. I almost joined the military. I was going to join the Air Force. I was like 19. My wife was like pushing school hard. I had gotten almost a lot of my credits, and I just hated school. I actually was studious, and I had good grades, and went to AP. I had AP classes and all that stuff, and honor roll, and then I just needed money. So at one point, I'm at high school senior year. My senior year, I didn't go to high school. Like, I just had this program. I had all my credits. I was gonna drop out. Shout out Miss Day Seuss, rest in peace, man. She died from cancer. She was like the lady in charge of the guidance counselors. You know, does that make sense? Yeah. And my guidance counselor was cool with me dropping out. Like, all right, cool. You know, peace. And my mom was kind of like, I was already on some like, grown man, like, I love you, mom, I'm leaving. Like, I'm getting up and leaving, or you could come sign me out, and I could just keep cutting hair. And she's like, why are you gonna like drop out, Miss De Jesus? She was like, why are you gonna drop out? Like, you have all your credits, you have great grades, like you're gonna walk regardless. There's this program that we have now for kids that are behind. Why don't you come in an hour early, hang out with me, do the program, leave at 10:30, and go cut hair. So my whole senior year, 11 o'clock, I went to the barbershop, and that just opened up my mind, bro. Because I didn't have really a father figure for a long time, so being around adults, getting money, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was just,
I feel that.
Yeah, I was like that. I remember I went on a date with my wife, bro, and I had like a wad of cash. I didn't have a bank account. I was an idiot,
good,
you know what
right?
I'm saying? And she set me up, bro. She was like, yeah, I go on a date with you. I said, I bet, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking this is it. Dog, she invited like 10 people, bro. God. You know, I had to show out, like I said.
No, don't worry.
Big
Don't worry.
knot.
I
Right back to the
my
shop.
Rubber band man.
I had to go wake up in the morning and cut hair.
What?
Savings account got, hey, my savings account got depleted. But
I already know.
it was one of those things where like, and then it just obviously naturally, one step at a time, I became more organized in my life. I got closer to God, which made me become more organized in my life. And it really, I found passion in it. And then the best part, bro, iron sharpens iron, right? So as I'm working at Ace of Spades, shout out Chuck, beautiful shop. He had a lot of like good people in that shop, right? We're all kind of growing in our own versions, you know? And I remember just seeing Mo coming in and working, and Dave and Josh and all these guys, and it's like, yo, like, this
So
is
you
kind of cool.
stole all his barbers.
Nah, we ain't stealing nothing.
Everybody
here.
chose to leave.
Look, this is the thing, like, if Dave and I,
Yeah.
right, if we don't put people in position to do their own thing, we're gonna lose them, regardless. It's just the way growth works.
Facts.
So at the very, like, it's like you and Ravi. You have your own show. What you learn from Ravi. Ravi could have been like, I don't like Dan no more. He has his own show. He should have done everything with me instead and helped my brand out more. But he already has his thing. His thing is going crazy. He probably loves that you're all doing. I've seen you guys go onto each other's shows and doing things together. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully us one day. You know, I want to have a show one day too. And it's like we can work. And I think it's the growth. When you grow together, you can grow stronger. But some people don't have that mindset. Some people are like, it's about me. And I'm not saying that in a direct manner. But I just had a lot of friends that are like that.
Yeah.
That we've grown apart because of that. Because they gatekeep. They
Yeah.
don't want to see you grow only this much. And it's like,
It's like you gotta always empower the people around you.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic, but like if you
you have to. You
if
have
you
to.
ask any of the people that's like close to me, they'll tell you, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I learned that from you a lot. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you've helped us out a lot with a lot of little things that you didn't have to. You could have been like, nah, you know, because it's easier to say no.
You always
And
put people on.
You always put people on, bro. And big
Appreciate
shout
it.
out to that, bro. So why did you choose gun hair?
I looked up to my brother, man. My
Yeah.
brother was a barber, and when he was trying to be a barber, it wasn't really like his situation where your mom was probably proud that you were working, right? Your mom was probably like, at least he's hustling. Like,
She was like, yo, you joined the military.
oh, really? She didn't like that you were being a
Barbering
barber?
back then. Barbering back then was like your brother. It was the same thing.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
it
So
was
like my
frowned
brother, my mom literally told him like, you should be a garbage man if you want to be a barber. Because my brother, he was studious and he was going to be an architect, all this stuff. So my mom saw that, and then I copied my brother my whole life, bro. He liked Randy Moss, I liked Chris Carter. He liked Kevin Garnett, I liked Latrell Sprewell. You know what I mean? I just copied him, you know, as much as I could. And he became a barber, and he was the cool guy in the neighborhood. He was cutting in Sanford, and pretty much in the same plaza that he has his store now.
That's dope.
And yeah, it's cool. And yeah, I thought he was the coolest person in the world, bro. I still do to this day, you know? And seeing him at the barbershop be the clown, and it's funny, when I first became an actual barber at Ace of Spades, I used to look at Miguel and see my brother and Miguel a lot, being the shop clown, the loud guy, right? And just a cool guy. And yeah, so I started cutting hair in 7th grade. I was just fucking my boys up and shit and whatever. And
Like literally?
yeah, fucking them up. It was bad.
That's
Like,
how it is.
yo,
in the beginning.
it was
You
bad.
cut hair in the beginning is like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I
I
mean,
might have gone too far back. Hold up. Next cut a little lower.
I scalped somebody, shit was so bad we had to go bald.
I got a story for that when I was in the military after you finished talking.
Yeah, so did all that, and then I cut hair. When I moved to this side of town, I was in 10th grade.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell anybody I was cutting hair before, because I was trash. Whatever, people got cuts from me, but it was really just shape-ups. And then, long story short, started cutting again. Just started cutting. People found out, figured it out. Cool. Started cutting again. And I always thought barbering was just cool as fuck. My brother left the game, and I felt like God gave him the talent, you know, to put me on. And he went and did something more passionate for his life, and I got to do something for my life with it, you know. And it's like he handed me a tool, you know. And I kept going, and I've been a professional barber actually now for 10 years. 10 years ago, I stepped in Ace of Spades.
Congrats.
Yeah, man. And it was just all passion, bro. I thought barbering was the coolest thing ever. I was just so, I'm sure you watched those barbering videos where it's like, what's the word am I looking for? Not intriguing, when it's just like addicting to watch it.
Like ASMR?
Satisfying.
Oh, satisfying.
You know, it's like so satisfying to watch those videos, and so imagine doing it all day, you know? And honestly, the prices kept going up, and you're making more money, and then it just becomes a legit career,
Yeah,
you know? And
facts.
it was just like, cool, this is awesome.
Facts.
Yeah.
There was when I used to cut hair, there was a time that when I first started cutting hair, probably like the 6th person I had cut. Cause I was cutting. Let me put that. I was cutting really regular when I was in Maryland, but I never cut like a Spanish dude's hair. Black dudes all day. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
So the Spanish was like, you cut hair? I was like, yeah, it's inspection, right? So in the military, you have inspection where they'll check your uniform, also check your haircut to make sure you're within regs. So yeah, I got you, bro, I got you. He said, I want a fade. I was like, okay. So I was cutting his shit, right? And I couldn't get it to fade, bro. No matter what I did, it wouldn't fade. So it ended up being a bowl cut. So when he put his hat on, the Navy hat you put on, he put his hat on, you just see the line going around his shit. So we're in inspection, right? And like we're all standing, pop tall, standing and shit. And like you can just hear the guy, the inspector, like walking around. He's like, is that okay, all right? Like, who the fuck cut your hair? He was like, Seaman Roache, Chief. He was like, all you hear is the shoes, because it was hard when you hear his shoes walking. You can't turn, right? So all I see is him, the chief, walking past the row in front of me, and I hear him like turn. I hear it getting closer and closer. You can't turn. If you turn, you out of regs. He stops right here and he does like a fucking left face to me. He's like, why you fuck his hair up?
Everybody serious? Were you scared or did you want to laugh?
Yo,
I was scared as fuck.
The funny part is that guy probably went to after he sent y'all out. He probably sat there and laughed that shit off like.
Yeah.
Bro, I was
man.
But I mean, that was kind of like a notion of just cut niggas hair, cause you know what I'm saying. You ain't gonna learn how to.
That's hard, bro.
I've had people tell me,
that's
nah,
hard.
I only trust black dudes.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't let black dudes cut my hair.
Yeah.
I'm like, how you missing out, brother?
My Jamaican friend, I told you, is a good friend of mine. Shout out my boy Brandon. Shout out B-Math, man. So he's like my first official, I would say, cause being Puerto Rican, by the way, we have like what you want to call African American hair or coarse hair, right?
Nigga, I know.
But I'm just saying, because we have Afro Latinos, so I have cousins that are dark skinned with naps. So I've been cutting people from all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first official, like, born in America, what you want to call African American, that gave me a chance. Right? But it's like I had been cutting people with like waves, but in their mind they're like, nah, those guys speak Spanish or they're not official. And I'm like, nah, it's the same type of hair. It's the same Chico hair. Like, we have Tito Trinidad. You know what I mean? So I ended up cutting Brandon, laced him, and then Brandon brought the Jamaican. First thing he said is, like, oh, this is a white man cutting my hair. Like, I don't trust him. And I was like, bro, give me a chance. Like, you know what I mean? I said, give me a chance. And shout out Kling, man, bro. He really helped me out so much. That's another person that, like, honestly, I can say, bro, from the bottom of my heart, bro, that boy helped me out so much in my life, bro. Kimar McCoy.
Oh.
He helped me out so much in my life, bro, like financially, business. There's so much that he learned from his family, his mom, and him just going to school, his friendships, his network, that he could have been gate kept, bro. And he would put me on, do this. So financially, really helped me invest a lot, bro. Financial literacy is everything. But anyways, I ended up, he always called me white. He's like, you're a white guy. And then I finally cut his hair, and he was like, oh, this is crazy. That's how I told him, baby. Hit him with the sheens. Yeah, no, back then he had a perfect hairline,
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
Sorry, man. Hey, sorry to say that out loud. It happened.
I
Yeah.
hit you like this.
Back then, you know, but back then, I just said, ching, ching. It was perfect.
What does purpose mean in your life?
Purpose mean to me, or like what do I think my purpose is?
What do you think your purpose is?
My purpose? I think my purpose is to, one, make people feel good. Like, for my events, it brings me joy to see people come and have a good time, right? To see them actually be a part of something that they probably never experienced before, right? In the car scene, you have people that are up here and they look down at people down here. It's kind of like, oh, like, whatever. But everybody starts at this point and then builds up. So when I say I feel my purpose in life to make people feel good is, I want for what I'm doing to be a testimony of like, yo, you can do it too, no matter what, right? Even though I started here, I'm now up here. Don't feel like you can't do this at any point. Because if I could do it, you could do it, right?
And also remaining humble when you finally get here.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I started the show with, man. Didn't know you were Swerve.
That's a wild thing about it. Like, you know, some people like they always lead with their accolades or what they do, and I'm like, I always think number one, you let your work speak for itself.
Facts.
Your people will speak for you. You know what I'm saying? So back to my purpose. Number one, making people feel good, not just about what they're doing, but themselves. And it don't have to be anything with cars. It could be anything at all. Like my circle, I try and inspire them to be bigger and better than what they are. Like, yo, even though you're doing this right now, you can be way bigger or way further ahead than you need to be. You just have to put in the work. Number two, I think my purpose also is to just show any inner city kid, because even like how you were saying earlier, like you're just starting, it's not your story not done yet. Show any inner city kid from the hood, from wherever, like no matter where you're from, it's not your final destination if you don't want it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can sit here and say, when I grew up, I was sitting on a stoop watching red cars go by, and we used to have a game called That's My Car, where me and my friends would play like, oh, that's my car, like we're saying that cool car is ours. So having them look at what I'm doing, like, yo, like if he can do it, I can too. Because at the end of the day, when I moved here, I started at the bottom, and I saw what people were doing. I said, they can do it, I can too.
That's hard. That's hard. Kind of reminds me of the barber game too, because we all start.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody ever in the human time, mankind, that has ever picked up a clipper and laced somebody up or whatever they used back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I think that's true.
It's
No.
impossible.
You gotta learn. You gotta like. It's like growing pains that you get from. Actually, talking about growing pains, like, I know where you're at right now. Obviously, I know you off the camera personally. We do at least. And,
Whole different person.
and we know your success. We know your investments and stuff. But where do you see Dan in 10 years? Not the brand. I think the brand's gonna keep. Like you said, the brand grows with time. But where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In a Porsche.
Ooh.
That's not what's outside?
Huh?
That's not what's outside?
No. It should be, but
all the money invested, it could be.
bro.
For real.
Bro.
For real.
In 10 years, for me, I want to. So it's a hard question because, like, maybe it's a Jamaican in me. My imagination and how I think about things, I have so many ideas that I want to put in fruition. So I may say, oh, I see this in 10 years, but that may not be where it's going to go. I don't know if this makes sense, but I have like several different ideas I want to put up, including owning a restaurant, right? Including building an apartment building, including owning an ice cream shop, ironically. Cream, Swerve, you know what I'm saying? Swerve.
Yeah.
But I see myself in a place that I don't think I can imagine right now. Because if you told me in 2017 when I started this that I'll be where I'm at right now, I'll be like, nah, I don't think my mind wouldn't be able to fathom it.
I understand that because I feel like, again, that's the concept of growth.
Yeah.
As long as you take one step at a time, you know, things are gonna. And I do believe in a higher power. So I do believe that God has these blessings for our lives. And like you said, the nicer you are to people, the more He opens up for you, right? So in a sense, what you answered there without answering kind of directly was entrepreneurship. Continuing to grow on your entrepreneurship path, which is It's part of life. Like one door opens up another. You have to know when it's time to move on to the next door. I always tell these guys this. I love cutting hair.
Yeah.
I didn't say I was gonna cut hair forever.
Yeah. Facts.
I love cutting hair, brother.
Yeah.
But like, if God gave me a chance to retire tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'd rather be with my son, my wife. As long
know
as
what I'm
financially
saying?
I'm getting bread,
Yeah.
and I love cars. This thing, I'm never
Yeah.
gonna stay away from cars. But like when we're talking about like the work environment, sometimes it's a lot, bro. And yeah, you were saying?
I will say in 10 years that one thing that I do, it just has to happen. It's going to be a space for my collection of cars that I can actually have people come in, look, shop, and things like that. That's one thing that.
Yeah, like a storefront like that. That's fire.
I won't say it's a storefront though.
More like a garage.
Not even a garage. It's hard to explain. The only place I've seen it is a spot in Japan, but it's like, picture like a museum that you can go shop at, where you'll see
Your builds.
Makes
your
sense.
builds and
Like 326 has that, right, over there?
no,
I think they do.
they probably
It's like
do.
that though. It's
Yeah.
like they have their builds, and then
Yeah.
they also have an area where you shop.
You know what I'm
at.
saying?
I know
Yeah.
they would
I don't know if
do
you guys seen the new Supreme store in Miami.
Yeah.
You seen it?
I've seen the couple guys posted, but I haven't
Bro.
been there before.
That right there is
It's like an artwork.
it's straight artwork, bro. Because like if you walk inside of it, you have the clothes and everything, but you look up, it's a freaking skate ramp
Yeah.
above you. You have to walk up and you can go skating. That's like top tier, next level mind shit. And sometimes, like I feel like I think so far ahead that my ideas, when I do try to start doing them, it's low key kind of scary. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? I almost like I'm capping. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm capping, but it's more so that when you're creative and you know that you can generally put something together and it starts coming together, then it's like, okay, this is exactly what I want it to be.
I understand. I remember telling people this idea of floating mirrors.
If you told me, I'd be like, what the fuck you mean by that?
And they'd be like, what do you mean? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it has to have a uni-stress system. And I had to look
Yeah.
this up. How can I hang a mirror? Uni-stress
Yeah.
system. So all this idea that I had, and I want to be able to like slide a piece of paper to the next side, and I don't want to, and it's double-sided stations, and they're open, and I remember telling people that, and they'd be like, huh? And
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, because I already looked it up, so I get your concept. It's a head in the clouds, boot in the ground, where like you're constantly like building as you move, but your creative mindset.
So, if, for anybody that's watching right now, any young man, any young kid that's watching, what's some advice that you would give them to get in the position that you're in today?
Start your dreams from early. Don't focus on the things you see on the internet too much, because a lot of time that shit is fake. It's a lot of, you made a shirt where it says block out all the noise. When you're doing this entrepreneurship, you have to do that, because there will always be someone that's doing better than you, that is in a better position than you. You have to block that out. You have to focus on you and continuously focus on you to where you get to where you want to be. There's a meme where it shows a guy on a bike, and that guy on a bike is looking at a guy in a car. The guy in a car is looking at a guy on a plane. The guy on a plane looking at a guy in a spaceship. It's that notion of it's a never-ending chase, because you're always going to look at somebody else, and that person always has something better than you. But you can't focus on that as a bad. Use it as a drive to get to where you want to be. That's one. Number two, different streams of income. Don't ever only have one stream of income. When you only have one stream of income, you literally are one stream away from being broke. Hustling is the best way to do it. Whatever your passion is, you can start that as your side job. Have a regular 9 to 5, or if you don't want to do 9 to 5, focus solely on your hustle. That's like your main thing. Focus on that, but always try to have multiple streams of income. One thing I learned about entrepreneurship is you have an entrepreneurship worker and you have an entrepreneurship business. The entrepreneurship worker is, you're an entrepreneur, but if you only have that stream coming in, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you only have that stream coming in. When you're an entrepreneur, flat out, you have your main business, but then that business offsprings to other things. So like, for instance, with me, started out with printing shirts. So I started out with making my shirts, but now I also make shirts for other people. Started out with hosting events, but now I help people put together other events, things of that nature.
All right, man. So before we close out, man, I always like to give shout outs to people because, you know, a lot of reasons for us being here is because someone else, you know, we're here because someone else allowed it or helped us.
Facts.
Any shout outs, man?
The list is long, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. All right, first of all,
Dave.
hold on. First of all, shout out to God, man. Shout out to God, shout out to Jesus, because a lot of shit didn't happen in my personal life that if it wasn't for him, none of this would be possible. Like, straight up. Next, shout out to my personal family, you know what I mean, for believing me what I do, supporting me. My girl for always helping me. Shout out to Byron, shout out to Matt, shout out to Jordan. If you see the car in this video, Jordan painted the car. Color's crazy. Shout out to Jay, who actually helped me start hosting meets at a legit location at his old liquor store. Shout out to the entire Swerve team, everybody from Gio to Alex to Sticks, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. If you're part of the Swerve team at any point in time, shout out to you. Shout out to my girl, because she doesn't stress me out at all regards to this shit. If I need to go somewhere, whether it's California, whatever, it's no, damn, you gotta go, this and that. It's full support consistently. And without her, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of stuff that I do. She also gives me a lot of ideas. Shout out to a lot of promoters that give me advice as well, from Clean Culture, Nick, Elite Tuna Ranger. Shout out to the core show promoters that I really, really look up to. Shout out to Ravi, number one, because he helped me do everything from structure my business, help me figure out how to do my business taxes on sales tax, because Lord knows I had no idea to do that shit. He even helped me set up my EIN and all that shit. And now people are coming to me, asking me to help them do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
It's wild how much he's helped influence what I do. So I can honestly, truthfully say, if Swerve would probably not be exactly what it is because of him. Major influence from the beginning. Shout out to ASM Chris for hosting some of the best events in Florida.
Yeah, I love all his
anywhere
card.
else,
I love his card too, yeah.
Because what he does help drives me to be better at what I do, because he does such dope things in dope locations. Shout out to Roscoe, I Love Driving Slow. He had a show on Sunday in Tampa that hosts dope events.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Shout out to all our supporters, everybody who's bought merch from us, anybody who's come to our events. If you fuck with us, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Shout out to Popular, all the guys here in the barbershop for doing something dope. This is dope. The environment, the podcast, the shop. Shout out to Dave for always lacing me up. You know what I'm saying? Big salute to y'all, for real. I pray that, you know, in 10 years that the podcast has hundreds of thousands of subscribers that I could come back here and stunt in my Porsche. You know what I mean?
Thanks, you heard? Hey, damn, appreciate you, my boy. Always, man. You heard?
Peace. Dancing, pick it.